Hello everyone, it's Red with RedDragonLeo.com, and today is April 17th, 2011, Sunday night. Okay, next week I am really not looking for anything major to happen. We have a holiday on Friday. I expect light volume pretty much throughout the week, and I think that they are going to float this market higher. I am still thinking that they will take this to the 138 print at least before they roll it over, and I don't even know for sure that they're going to roll it over at that point. I only know that I do believe that they will take it to this target before the market crashes. Will that be the final target? I don't know. You know, when we look back at the Dow misprint that was here, we only knew that we were going to this target. We thought that it would roll over once it hit that target, but it did not. It actually hit that target that day, sold off the next day, and then it turned and went back up and continued higher. So we only know that it's going to go to that print. That's all we know. So it's going to be the same thing with this one here. Well, yeah, it'll eventually get to that print, but not anytime soon. Well, what happened to the print? Okay. Yeah, and they're all these prints will eventually be hit. Same prints. Well, I seem to have lost the print. No, that was. Sorry. Okay. So my speculation is that it's going to happen on April 29th, because that's a 29, and the volume there just gives me the idea that that's going to happen 4th month, 29th date. That's just speculation. There's no way of knowing. I could be totally wrong on that, but I do believe that they are going to take this market higher. So as far as getting aggressively short, other than just simply day trading up and down, I'm not getting aggressively short on anything right now. It's just too manipulated, too controlled. We know that by Friday, folks. There's no way that market should not have rolled over on Friday, but they pushed it up against all the charts, all the technicals. To me, it looked very bearish. It should have rolled over. It did not. They held that market up for OPEX. But this is nothing new. They do this every single month, folks. Every month they manipulate OPEX. It is always about paying out the least amount of money. So we should have just known right off the bat that they were going to push it up on Friday. I mean, it's just like a no-brainer. It doesn't matter if the president got shot. They'd still push the market up. They don't care. Doesn't matter if Japan would have fell into the sea. They'd still push the market up. That's just the way they do it. They're going to steal your money. That's what it's all about. The bears that shorted, if they didn't get out before then, you know, Friday they got squeezed. And it's going to continue next week. If you draw your trend line from here up through here up to here, you can see we've been riding a big long trend line right here, and we haven't quite touched it. We could go down a little bit more to touch it, but I don't think that that's going to be the case. This chart on the weekly basis, it can be interpreted bearish or bullish. It is still rolling over and pointing down, but you notice it did cross over here to give it a bearish cross. But even though this here looks like it continue down, it could just as easily curl right back up. There's nothing to say that it's going to continue down. The fact of the matter is, here we are pointing back up here, and it does look like it wants to hook and go down. But you know, it could go either way. It could continue up, or it could roll over. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is just a 100% bearish chart on the weekly. That's just not the case. It's neutral at best. You know, it can go either way at this point. That's what you got to look at. As you can clearly see, even though they crossed it here, they did the same thing back here, and then they just traded sideways for quite a while. And you can see what they did here: dip down a little bit and come right back up. So until this thing, especially this right here, rolls back down and turns back down for good, you know, then maybe it's will get bearish again. But right now, I'm just looking at a true bottoming tail here on that one, and a bottoming tail here on this one. I know it's only 2 weeks, but I just don't see it crashing next week. I just don't. RSI sent here at 60.88. It is pointing down, but that's when it's at 66. Remember, that's 2-to-1 buying versus selling. When it's at 33, that's 2-to-1 selling versus buying. So right now we're not quite 2-to-1 buying versus selling, but it is still in bull territory. Above 50 is bull, and below 50 pretty much is bear territory. So I just don't see it right now. There's POMO still going on in the market, and that's going on until the end of June. April's a bullish month overall, and May is usually the bearish month. The old sell in May and go away that they used to say. That's still out there. Whether or not that happens or not, I don't know. But clearly here on the daily, it's went down. It's put in a bottoming tail, went back up. It's resting on support here, closed above support, I should say. The 50-day moving average, it closed above it, and it is curling back up. Same thing here on the full stochastics. Same thing here on the slow stochastics. Now, you could argue that it's going to go back up here and put in a lower high and then roll over, and it very well could do that. I can't answer that, but just in my gut tells me that we're going to put in a new high. It is so close. When you look at this big run up here, it hit here multiple times, couldn't break through, and here it's gathering new steam again to go for another move up. I definitely think we're going to put in a new high and hit our 1388 target. Call that a wave 1, a wave 2, and a wave 3 up. So at the same time it's doing that, I would think that we would put in, this would curl back up, and we'd put in a lower high on these histogram tower bars so that we could draw a line here and put in a negative divergence is what I would look to see happen. That's what I think is going to happen. So C leg, I don't know if you measure that from here to about 1240 up to 1340. What's that, about 100 points? So 1300, you go up on a C wave. You could go as high as 1400 for your C wave, because it's usually A equals C, if I'm correct on the Elliott wave stuff. But only thing I know is that fake print is likely to be hit. The when part, I do not know. I'm speculating on April 29th, and I'm speculating that we're going to hit it before the market rolls over and crashes. Because once it crashes, I don't think we're going to see this high again in years. I mean, once a serious crash comes in, we're talking 5,000 points shaved off of it, and like nothing. And I think that's exactly what will happen. So when I go over here to this new post that I've been writing, this guy's video right here, that he talks about it. It'll be on this post I'm doing right now, and he said we have until July. He makes a lot of valid points. I don't know the time period, but he certainly thinks that once the earnings come out, and for all the companies that are affected by the disaster in Japan, that all those earnings are going to be horrible. The third quarter earnings, and it'll shave 5,000 points more off the Dow. And that's in my post, so you'll be able to read that and watch that video. But and he makes a lot of valid points. I think the gangsters can manipulate just about everything, but it's very hard to manipulate all the earnings. And who's going to believe it anyway? I don't think either traders are going to believe manufactured earnings that everything is rosy when they know that parts that you're going to get for automobiles or electronics that come from Japan, they're not going to believe that the earnings are going to be accurate if they lie about it. So I don't see that happening. Too many companies are going to come out with bad earnings that are severely affected by the Japan disaster, the Japan attack, I should say, that the Illuminati did when they used HARP on it to create that earthquake and planted those nuclear bombs, but with submarines along the fault line, which they are both guilty of, killing thousands and thousands of people, millions over time, I'm sure, with all the wars that they put us in and the wars that they're staging for later this year. So that's coming. Looking at the 60-minute chart, I would definitely suspect that Monday should dip down to let this thing reset itself. It's getting pretty overbought right here. So it should dip down a little, but I understand that we're still below zero, and this thing can push its way all the way up here to 5 very easily. So when I say it's going to dip down here, it does not have to go below zero. It can just dip down here and then come back up and put in a lower high as it worked its way and put the negative divergence in there, meaning it can just simply drop back down here to 1315, the area, for example, and put in a little B back. So kind of like a B, a C, or you could call it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by the time you get up here and hit this area here, the top again. So, but so yeah, this should recycle back down to some point and then curl back up. Same thing here, just a little dip and then back up. Remember, it's light volume, folks. Very light volume. You can't expect the bears to be able to get a hold of this market. Even this sell-off here was very light volume. It was 100% controlled and manipulated. All it was that they had too much resistance overhead. They bang, 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 and they finally said, well, let's take it back and try again. So they slowly sold it off right here. There really wasn't a lot of volume. I don't think any one of these days had over 200 million of volume on the SPY, 200 million shares traded, and you really need to see heavy volume of 200 million or better to see some panic in the market, to see real selling. I mean, institutions really weren't participating in panicking and selling stuff. So that's why it was very difficult to get bearish thinking that this is going to be a big move down, because it wasn't. So next week will be light volume. You can expect maybe a little dip on Monday, but back up, and then the rest of the week I expect them to beat around and chop around at this area again, and I really wouldn't doubt it if they don't bust through it this week, because it is light volume. With that power, there won't be that many traders left to stop them, not many bears left. So that would be a perfect week to bust through. Bust through it by Thursday, put in your new high, and maybe dip the next week a little bit, then keep on running up one more time. I wouldn't doubt that this will be some type of 5-wave pattern that extends outward for maybe 5 waves. Same thing here on a 30-minute chart. You can see it's overbought. It does need to dip down. Same thing here, but do expect it to go up here to 5.0 or better. So just because it dips down a little bit, you should expect it to recycle back up after it does. Just to let this get down here to recycle itself on the full stochastics, and then curl and push back up, because both the 30 and the 60 are supported right now by the daily, which is pushing up. So again, you look at the daily, it is curling up here, and if we were having heavy volume in the market, then and everything was really bearish, and we had a full week coming up, maybe a lot of earnings, then I would change my tune on this. I would sit here and say, I think it's going to fail. I think it's going to run up here and just roll back down and fail and be bearish. But you got to factor all these things in. When you factor in the POMO money, the light volume, the holiday on Friday, you really got to expect them to use that to their advantage and pump it up. Remember, this is going to be the greatest stock market crash in the history of the stock market and ever. It's coming. So you got to expect them to take it to new extremes, to new highs, to go against all the charts, especially the poor VIX, which is absolutely getting hammered. You can probably expect this to go down again and retest this 15 area down here. I fully expect it to do that before it finally tops out, to be so oversold and complacent that it's going to give the gangsters the absolute best opportunity to get short before the crash. So 15-minute chart, same story here, folks. It should break this line, this big trend line. I do expect it to break on Monday, but I don't expect it to go below the 13.15. If it goes down that low, it probably will. Probably go down there and then recycle back up. And Monday will probably be a spinning top day, maybe. That's what I would guess, as it recycles back up through the rest of the day. And then maybe up on Tuesday. But this whole week should be bullish. And really not a lot we can do about it. Just be prepared for it as bears. I'm really confident that we're going to go to at least the fake print, at least. And I don't know for sure if that's going to be the turning point and the final top, but at least that point, I do believe that. So, and I know that there was a video on my blog from last week, and this video talks about the 19th, which is right here. It talks about how they stage a lot of things on the 19th, and this one, well, if you watched it, most of you probably already have, but if you haven't, go back and watch it again. The 19th is Tuesday, April the 19th, but that doesn't mean that they can't do this on May the 19th, because I think it's the 19th is the ritual date, not so much the month. So, but I just don't see it happening this week. I know it could, but I don't see it happening. So it's worth noting and everything, because I know they're going to surprise us like they did last year with Dubai when it defaulted. It was like, what was it, Thanksgiving? It's on a holiday the day before, like I think it's on a Friday. It was a half day on a Friday, and there was Thanksgiving was on a Thursday, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And well, it's every Thursday, right? It's always on Thursdays. Get these holidays confused, sorry. But so the markets was closed on Thursday, half day on Friday, and then you had the weekend. And they took the market down with the Dubai news, but they had the whole weekend to prop it back up. Plus they had light volume on Friday. So it was all staged, all planned. But now I don't expect that to happen when they want this market to finally crash. When they are ready to get this market to crash, they're going to release the news when it hurts the market the most, so they get the most bang for the buck, and it really does crash. So so that's what I'm expecting, and I can't think of anything else to cover. Not much else going on other than that. I guess I will see you guys on the blog. And hopefully you bears made some money in this move down and are now sidelined or even bullish a little bit. So for me, I just will be sidelined until I feel comfortable again, other than maybe an intraday quick swing trade for a day or something. But other than that, I'm not looking for anything major. So all right, gang, I'll see you on the blog. Good luck, everyone.